So we are in step number 3, just calculated net cash flow that we will use to calculate internal rate of return and equity multiple. Internal rate of return, or IRR, is a metric used in financial analysis to estimate the profitability of potential investments. In our case scenario, the profitability of the LBO transaction. There are specific formulas in Excel that you can use to calculate internal rate of return. Most frequently used formula is IRR equals IRR, and it returns the internal rate of return for a series of cash flow. If I grab that formula with tab, you can see that the Excel asks me for values, and I would put here the values of net cash flows, and the crucial part here, you always want to put your actual investment as negative. That's the most common mistake when I see that IRR function doesn't work. Enter, and you can see that internal rate of return is 32%. There is another function in Excel I can use to calculate that value, which is XIRR. And XIRR returns the internal rate of return for a schedule of cash flows. So the key difference between IRR and XIRR is the way each formula handles cash flows. IRR doesn't take into account when the actual cash flow takes place. So it rolls them up into annual periods. By contrast, the XIRR formula considers the dates when the cash flow actually happens, meaning that XIRR is more precise formula. So let's use XIRR here and see the difference. I'm gonna grab it with tab, and first the formula is asking for values. So again, I'm gonna grab my net cash flows from the row 55, comma, and then I'm gonna grab my dates from the row 47. Amazing. And let's see the result. The result is 31.9% versus 32% with IRR function. This is just more precise way of calculating internal rate of return based on dates consideration. So IRR is a high number for us, 31.9%. It seems that the LBO transaction in this case scenario completely makes sense. And now let's confirm that with calculating equity multiple as well. Equity multiple is defined as the total cash distributions received from an investment divided by the total equity invested. So let's go ahead and calculate that as well. So we would take the sum of the results of our investment, which is net cash flows starting from 2019 and going forward, divided by the investment itself, which you can find in the cell D55. But remember, net cash flow we put here as negative, it's a cash outflow, and I want my equity multiple be a positive number. So I'm gonna just multiply it by -1 to keep the multiple positive. And my equity multiple is 4.14x. It's a great multiple. It means that whatever we invested, we received 4 times more from our investments. And my internal rate of return is 31.9%. So as a result, I'm concluding that the acquisition of Dave and Buster's makes complete sense at 25% premium to its current valuation by this private equity firm. Great job, guys.